Hello everyone, welcome to Gossip with CD. There's a fire on the mountain. There's a fire on the mountain. Fellow South Africans, Nina and Tango, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Dior, and Birkins and I get it started. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You spent how much? Okay, let me stop laughing. Okay, let's get to business, guys. So, as you guys already know, okay. Whew, let's compose ourselves. There's fire on the mountain. So, guys, as you already know, that when Donald Trump took over the White House in November, okay, the elections were on November 5th, and he came into the White House on the 20th of January 2025. Okay, so we already knew what his plans were. He says that the United States is being taken advantage of, and he's going to impose tariffs on countries that he believes that have been taking advantage of the United States, and hence the United States superpower status was beginning to decline, or it has declined, and therefore has rendered many Americans poor. Outside of the United States, a lot of people do laugh at America, basically call the United States as a third world with a Gucci bag. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's not laugh every time when we hear the word Gucci. Okay, shush, CD, shush. Okay, so... So Donald Trump went to work. I mean, South Africa was one of the victims where Donald Trump imposed 30% tariffs on us because he believed that we were taking advantage of America. Okay, cool. South Africa did not retaliate. South Africa said nothing. And so he went all over about 179 other countries where he was imposing tariffs on them, including China. He hit China with a whopping 125% tariffs. And China was like, I'm sorry, words? Do you realize that tariff wars, they do not benefit either party? It doesn't benefit China, it doesn't benefit the United States. Both become the loser. But China came with a flex and said, listen, we will survive this. We've been on this planet as China for the past 5,000 years. And
China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
And therefore, we don't care about the imposition of 125% tariffs on us. Now, this is what transpired after. It's like all hell broke loose when all the artisans and all the sweatshops in China started saying, wait a minute.
This Birkin bag at Hermes Boutique will cost you 38,000 USD. But what is the real cost out of the factory? Today, I'm going to break it down in front of you, step by step. First thing first, Hermes only use the leathers from the 3 top-level suppliers. One is called Muti from Italy. And the second is Weinheimera from Germany. And the third is Haas from France. One piece of Togo leather, the same leather as this one, will cost 450 USD. And one piece of the leather is only enough to make one Birkin, okay? The thread. And of course, for Hermes Birkin, the thread is also the best top level. It's called Fil au Chinois from France. This is actually the Rolls Royce in thread. For each bag, the cost is 25 USD. And then the hardware. See, this hardware is called 316 hardware. It's also known as the ocean stainless steel because it can withstand the erosion of seawater. It's the best stainless steel. For one piece of bag, the hardware will cost 150 USD. The edge oil. This edge oil is imported from Italy. It's called heat sealed edge oil. For each bag, it will cost 50 USD. The interior lining, it used lambskin imported from France. For each bag, the cost will be 100 USD. And also inside, there is a zipper from Riri brand. And the zipper for one bag is 10 USD. And then the cost of human resource. The French artisans is much more expensive than Chinese artisans. To finish one bag, the human resource cost will be 600 USD. The package, now this is not that expensive, it's 10 USD. So now to sum those up, the total cost will be 1,400 USD for one Birkin out of factory. But why Hermes will charge you 38,000 USD for one bag? That's because more than 90% of the price is paid for its logo. But if you do not care about the logo, you just want the same quality, same material, you can just buy from us. Because for our bags, we use exactly the same material, same leather, same hardware, same edge oil. The only difference is one, we don't have the logo, so we don't have to pay so much amount of money just for that logo. And second, our human resource is much cheaper. This is why this bag from our factory only costs you 1,000 USD, but even better quality and craftsmanship.
Since now we are at this war and we intend on winning this war, let me tell you something about your Louis Vuittons, your Gucci's, your Dior, your Birkins, your Fendi's, all these expensive bags that many South African celebrities, BE queens, as well as politicians, side chicks, they run to Dubai to buy them, or they will go to Italy itself to go to the Louis Vuitton headquarters to buy these bags for hundreds of thousands of rands. Okay, maybe let's say tens of thousands of rands to about hundreds of thousands of rands. And they come back to South Africa and they flex on Instagram and everywhere else to show us Bona Bakroga, Louis Vuitton and Gucci. Let's not also forget the political parties in this country, you know, EFF, the leaders wearing Gucci's and all this sort of stuff. And just so the Chinese are like, what? Y'all have, wait a minute.
So now we know why America really didn't want us to see what they was doing over in China. And if you don't know, click the search bar and see how China just froze America, that designer that you've been spending your money on, $200,000, $300, $400, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, all of your hard-earned money basically been going to knockoffs, if that's what y'all want to call them, Canal Street specials, if I might say. China is basically saying that your favorite designer gets their bags, their clothes, their shoes made in China, not Italy. So when you thinking you get enough finest threads, you get them from China. And now China is saying that they got them for the low, like they've been had them, but they're just not keeping a secret no more. So what they're saying is that designer that we've been wearing, they've been making, and they make it for cheaper, and we might as well not buy that designer that we've been buying. It's kind of strange to me because a lot of people have been losing their lives to get designer. It's a lot of people that lost their lives over design. And you're telling me that China's been making it. All I could say is this trade war is exposing the rail from the fake and fake from the rail. If that makes sense, I'm out.
And I'll guys tell you a story. Not so long ago, probably this was about 9 years ago. I kind of like went to Europe, and then there were some Chinese people there. And these Chinese people were just so mesmerized about their creation in Europe. And I was like, why are you mesmerized? It's like, you know, this bag, I just found out that in Europe, it cost 2,000 euros. And it was a small Gucci bag that he was showing me, this other individual showing them. 2,000 euros. Now you multiply that, I think, by 22 in South African rands, and you will see how much that is in our tens of thousands of rands. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, no, these things are made in China. And I'm like, wait, what do you mean these things are made in China? It's like, I don't know if I'm talking too much. I'm like, no, you can whisper it to me. because I don't buy these things anyways. I think they're just ridiculous. There's absolute no investment in any of these material stuff. And then it's like, no, there are sweatshops in China, and these bags are sold for literally $15 to the most expensive one will be $25. That will be around 300 and something rand if I'm calculating properly. Now, let's say it's 410 rand. But you are buying it in South Africa for 150,000 rand. You spend an entire year saving money so that you buy that bag. It cost 410 rand in China. You know, I have held Louis Vuitton bags and Louis Vuitton merchandises before, and they always gave me this khaki feel. I mean, I'll be like, this thing is hard as a rock. What are you talking about? It's like, yeah, the harder the material, the more original. They will even go as far as showing you stitches. It's like, oh, the stitches, if they look like this, it's not original. If the stitches look like this, it's a... Guys, this lady explains it so perfectly that this is a psychology that is being played on people because they love luxury.
Your made in Italy Gucci 80% come from Chinese factory. They just add the logo in Europe to make you pay the price of 10 times. Close your eyes. If your hammer says made in China, does it feel cheaper? No, that's not a quality issue. It's luxury brand washing. Fun fact, the hand stitching your product, 42% are Chinese artisans. We don't do cheap, we do underrated luxury. Why pay 2,000 Europe for Parisian air? Same leather, same craft, just without the European fairy tale facts. Be a luxury rebel, you can shop on Chinese platforms such as Taobao, 1688, Tianmao, Jingdong. You can even go directly to Guangzhou, Yiwu, Quanzhou, Wenzhou to buy. Don't know how to buy, how to pay, or arrange delivery? Just PM me. GoNest provide free shopping guidance and shipping services for you.
For them, they call it underrated luxury because the bags that they are using in China, the same quality as your Louis Vuitton bags and your Gucci bags and Gucci belts and all these Gucci shoes and Louis Vuitton slip. There's a fire on the mountain. There's a fire on the mountain. Donald Trump has opened a can of worms because China is like, we are exposing it all. Guess who the joke is on? It's on you because you guys have been played by capitalism. Capitalism, you are a victim of it and you can try and deny it. However, though, let's talk about the accusation that these things are fake. They are not fake, and I believe the Chinese when they say these are not fake. These are the same material that we use, that we ship to, let's say, for example, France. All that France does is put a stamp that made in France, or put a stamp that says made in Italy, or put a stamp that says made in America, when in fact, all they did was to create the Louis Vuitton bag itself. And without those, those prints, and then shipped to Italy to the headquarters of Louis Vuitton, because Louis Vuitton has those prints, and then they just print on top of that bag.
I am about to crash out. Seriously, I'm crashing out. China, they on our ass. Let me tell you something. Y'all see all these damn bags that I have? Okay? These are the bags they're talking about. Like, I have a Birkin, a Fendi, a Louis. I've never even used this bag yet. A Chanel, Louis, Fendi, Chanel, Gucci, Louis. And you're telling me what I have spent on all these bags, I could have went to China and got them and not spent all this money? China, I'm coming. But let me just show you all the bags that I actually really have. Look at this. Jack Moose, Louis, Hermes, Louis, Dior, 3 Chanels. Fendi, YSL, Chanel, Louis, Chanel, Louis, Gucci, Chanel. All of this stuff that I spent my hard-earned money on, all of this, are you freaking telling me that I overpaid for all of this shit? Let me go on Expedia or whatever and find me an airline ticket to China because I'm coming. I'm coming to see y'all. Look for me. And I also want to add that this Louis wallet, it legit say made in France. Made in France. I am now checking all my shit. China. I'm coming.
And then they will add some kind of a material, because apparently if you are buying a original Louis Vuitton bag, first of all you look at the stitches, second of all you look at the branding itself, the name, how it is branded in, like they say, all of that stuff, it's just, you guys are just buying the name, but everything else is made here in China for 410 rand if you buy the bag, not 150,000 rand. So Americans are melting down, y'all. I mean, not just Americans. How do I put this? Every influencer that buy these sort of things, they are melting down. They feel robbed. And some of them are like, never again will I go to a Gucci store, a Louis Vuitton store. I'm buying a plane ticket because anyways, the money that I would have spent in South Africa is the plane ticket return, business class, by the way, to China, get to buy these bags for 410 rand and come back home. China. So now I don't believe that these bags, guys, are fake. No, none of these things that they are showing us. The Nike shoes that you are wearing, they're not fake because they are showing longevity. They are showing they are showing the manipulation of capitalism, that you buy these Jordans and they will last for years, and it's still made in China. So it's not a knockoff. It's just you were robbed with the price. Hey, you know why I don't get iPhones no more? It's because I learned from that very Chinese brother who said an iPhone in China, it only cost $55. That is about 1,000 and couple of rands. An iPhone 16 right now, it will cost at least 2,000 rand. But how much do you buy it in South Africa?
Does anybody know how much it costs to make this beautiful product in China? Anybody want to take a guess? It's the iPhone 14. $100? The lady?
Less than 100.
Less than 100? I'll give you one more chance. How much? 300. You ready for the answer? $10. I swear to God.
A whole iPhone. And now, Tinagege, let's talk about the other thing that we love in South Africa, especially on a Sunday, on Christmas lunch and Christmas dinner, rice. This guy, he did come to South Africa at one point and he said, the rice that you eat in China, we call it peasant food. I'm like, wait, I mean, test steak is the most quality. It's like, especially your so-called test steak. That is a peasant food. That is rubbish. It's not rice. And then he tells me how rice ought to look like, feel like. It needs to be sticky. It needs to, he explains so many things. And I never looked at Tastic and Caroline and Spectre, the same again. Because I did eat the Chinese rice. The quality. Guys, we are being made fools of. And the funny part is, if you go to our stores, your Pick and Pay, your Woolworths, and all these places, and buy a Chinese rice, it's there. You will find it. The quality rice, you will find it in these stores. It's just that because we've been accustomed through advertisements that Tastic, Aunt Caroline, Spectre, I forgot, is it Spectre? They are the quality rice. They rise and they double in size. Guys, China did not come to play. They were like, oh, so y'all have a president that's like this? Okay, fine. We're winning this war. And they are. So I'm just trying to think, what are these big designer stores doing right now? Are they going to close shop? Are people going to go into them and start buying now that they know the truth? Now these people, the Chinese, they are advertising themselves as suppliers. That instead of you going to a Louis Vuitton store, going to a Gucci store, hey, just DM me and you tell me what you need, how many you need, and then I'll just ship it to you. Ooh, the catastrophe. I can literally see Louis Vuitton, Gucci, Fendi, they're all tripping over themselves trying to make sense of all of this. And I don't think they are going to be happy with the United States president, because that's how the United States economy also makes its money, from these luxury items like your Nike. Now, that makes me think, hey, have you ever heard of a factory in Europe, anywhere in Europe, that creates these bags, these belts, these shoes, these labels that you buy for hundreds of thousands of rands? And who are the people that do the hard work? Because from what I understand, Europeans don't want to touch nothing with their hands. Americans also don't want to touch anything with their hands. When Donald Trump sent Mexicans or the Latina people back to their countries, look what happened to the farms. The producers, they got rotten. The state of Arkansas is in a state of chaos. In 6 months' time, it will shut down because it does not have money. Why? Because it was heavily dependent on farming. And now they don't have the farmers because Donald Trump has threatened to deport them. All the produce, guess what? They're rotted. Now they can't sell anything to wherever they used to sell before. So now I'm asking, who were the hands and feet and the warm bodies that were sewing these items for you to buy? Doesn't it make sense that in China, we know that China is a heavy manufacturer with so many artisans, that these things will be made there rather than in France, rather than in Italy, rather than in the United States? Think about it. China has set the mountain on fire. I cannot stop laughing. And I've known about this for the longest. 9 years I've been holding this information. But who do you tell? Like when you see somebody with an iPhone, I'll be like, oh, shoot. When I see people queuing up for the next edition of the iPhone, I'm like, oh my goodness, if you only knew. But who's going to listen to you? Because we are so capitalized, manipulated by the capitalists. Before you leave, do not leave the video without liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. And let me know if you have a Gucci bag or something from Dior or from Fendi or whatever. Please let me know. And how do you feel right now? How do you feel? Goodbye.
Vele mina ngizokhuluma ngoba vele akekho umuntu ofuna ukukhuluma, and vele mina ngisabi umuntu, vele ngizokhuluma. I-China ikhiphe information heavy, massive. Shuthi wonke lama Louis Vuitton, lama Gucci, lama Munchino, lama Balenciaga besinibona nogcoke konka ema-Ayep ema-Rosebank, abo-Live, esinibona abo-Hugo nogcoka. Shuthi kahle na umdubulo. Phela kunamuntu shuthi like kule country or kulo mhlaba wonke one-original. Izonke lezi zinto zenziwe ku-China. Akunamuntu one-original. Usho kanjani ukuthi yakhe original ngoba nje itheke ukuthi made in Italy. Mara abantu base-China ama-assembler. Shuthi akunamuntu one-original. Wonke umuntu une-original. Shuthi nalabo abagcoka ekasa abasithenga eJozi ama-original mus. Bafethu shuthi siyafana sonke nje. Shuthi wonke umuntu akana-original. Wonke umuntu ugcoka i-fake kahle kahle.